Welcome to another session of Technology by Performix. I'm Ken Umansky, your host, and today we're going to explore again the wonderful world of technology. My guest today is John Long, the CEO and visionary leader of Thynk.ai, and that's Thynk.ai. John has more than 20 years of experience in both real estate and technology. Before founding Thynk.ai, he was a team leader at Lakeview Technologies. He uses his experience with AI and technology to help businesses grow and succeed. He's an AI thought leader who's often invited to speak and advise. John has an undergraduate degree in business management from Brigham Young University and an MBA from the University of Utah. Known for his positive attitude and problem-solving skills, he loves helping others achieve their very best. Welcome, John, and I really love your attitude and your philosophy of helping others. And I really appreciate you joining me today, so thanks.
Oh, my pleasure. Great to be with you and great to be with your listeners today, Ken. And so sure appreciate the opportunity to join you.
Well, I'm really interested in hearing your perspective on the state of AI and how companies are using that technology, or maybe they're not using it. So let's get started.
Uh,
My first question is, you've been involved with sales of one sort of another for many years. Kind of share a little of your background so we understand how you got to Think AI.
yeah, so I started off right out of my undergrad college in real estate, buying and selling houses. I was a house investor, fix and flip investor. Started a heating and air conditioning company then in 2009 after the real estate crash. And so early on, I spent a lot of time selling people at kitchen tables, right? Direct to consumer, B2C type of sales. Then about 15 years ago, I transitioned into technology and started initially in small business software sales, selling to anywhere from one to maybe 50 people operations, so not real big businesses. Graduated from there into more of an enterprise level role, and I spent the majority of my last 15 years in enterprise selling roles, selling to some of the largest businesses and entities here in the United States and some even across the world. But always had that entrepreneurial itch to get back out on my own. And so my business partner and I, a couple of years ago, started working on a business idea. And we initially said, hey, let's see if we can use AI in our new business to help with some of the sales, really mostly pre-sales, kind of sales development role. And long story short, we couldn't find a tool to buy or to license. And so we built a tool for us to use within our business, not focused on AI at all, just using AI as a tool within our business. Well, we built that tool and we said, gosh, this tool that we've built is actually really cool. Maybe we should offer it to others. And lo and behold, Think AI was born, right? And we've been offering that now to other customers for 6 or 8 months. So still fairly new, but growing and having great success and really making a big difference for our customers.
Well, Think AI is a great name, and it sounds like you're really using AI in a very positive way. Speaking of AI, there's a lot happening in the world of AI these days. As you know, it's all over the news every night.
Yeah.
What do you think the next 12 to 24 months look like? And how's that going to affect you?
Wow. Well, my crystal ball is probably about as foggy as most, but I've got a little bit of an idea. I think over the next 12 to 24 months, we will see business radically change. I don't know how many people recognize the power of AI because it's still on kind of that cutting edge of being implemented, right? But AI can do most of our jobs for us. Now, I'm not predicting like the end of the world or mass unemployment or anything like that, but I think we are going to have to retool. And I think AI will take care of doing a lot of the repetitive types of tasks that we do in business today. And really, we can look at that in two ways. Either you look at that as it's going to take jobs, and it will. It will certainly eliminate some jobs. But I hope, and our focus at Think is helping employers recognize that what they have in their existing employees and in that domain experience that they have is valuable. And you don't want to just throw that away. And so our focus is empowering employees with like an AI sidekick, right? Someone that sits by their side, does all of the mundane stuff that they didn't like doing anyway, right? And just empowering them to do better work instead of busy work. And so I think that we will see that shift happen. It's already happening. And I think we will see it accelerate significantly over the next 12 to 24 months to the point where um, business as we know it today will look radically different in 2 years from now. Um, and it, like I said, it will eliminate some jobs. It will create some new jobs. We've created many new jobs with the companies that we work with, where they've gone out and hired AI specialists or folks internally to help them manage their AI needs. But I think a lot of the repetitive tasks are definitely going to be gone.
Yeah, I obviously talk to a lot of people, and the overall themes that I can, seem to repeat are that AI is really an efficiency tool that's going to help people become more efficient, um,
Yes.
and enable them to do work faster and the quality improve. And the second thing is AI really isn't going to generate revenue, it's going to reduce cost. Do you think in the work you're doing, is that kind of what you're seeing?
It definitely reduced costs, but I think that it has huge potential for revenue generation as well. So our AI is used in the sales process. And your comment about it being an efficiency generator is very accurate. We allow companies to use AI to make their sales processes far more efficient. And that's not necessarily meaning that they're cutting down on headcount, but they are absolutely optimizing every opportunity that comes their way.
Right.
And a great example of this is many times as we work with new customers, they're understandably a little bit nervous about AI, right? They're like, well, I don't know. I'll poke it, but I don't know if I'm ready to like wake it up yet, right? And we tell them, look, give us your old dead leads that nobody's doing anything with, and let us have our AI agent reach out and contact those old dead leads and see if we can resurrect some revenue out of those old dead leads. And we do it every single time. And they go, oh my goodness, we didn't think there was anything there. Our sales reps have said they've called them all. There's not interested. They're not interested in what we offer. And we say, no, well, the problem is most sales reps stop calling prospects after about 3 or 4 attempts. And most prospects need 7 to 12 interactions before they're ready to buy. So there's this gap where we lose all sorts of people, right?
Right.
And so it absolutely can generate revenue by helping fill those types of gaps in our selling methodologies and our selling processes. And we're seeing that every day.
Yeah, the other thing I've heard is that in the sales funnel, that AI can help identify, hot, medium, and cool prospects, and really help
Mm-hmm.
salespeople understand who to focus on and who, maybe put on the back burners. Is that
Yeah.
something you're really seeing?
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit of that. RAI isn't so much of a sentiment analysis tool, but there certainly are AI tools. There's a company that we've done a little bit of work with here locally, and they will listen to sales conversations. Their AI listens to sales conversations, and then they can select one or multiple sales conversations, all with the same sales rep or across the entire sales org, and they can say, "Help us understand what buying signals indicate a potential customer is most interested. Help us understand what questions and what way to ask questions is most effective for helping close sales, and essentially pull a whole bunch of data out of the past sales conversations to then improve future sales conversations and make them more effective and more efficient."
Yeah, that's really one of the really good points of AI in terms of being able to aggregate data and use that in order to help close deals or whatever
Mhm.
else the application is. I've heard that across a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
so thinking about that, if Do you think a business needs to become an AI business in order to stay competitive in the future? Or will there be companies that don't really need to adopt AI?
I think that in general, every company and every person will use some AI. We're already seeing that happen today. Going back to your earlier question of the next 12 to 24 months, AI will become something that is so ingrained in our lives that when it stops working, um, we're going to kind of feel like a little bit of a fish out of water, right? And so, yes, every company will use some level of AI. Now, do they need to be an AI centric company? Probably not. But if they have competitors in their space that are very AI centric, those competitors will beat them. They will win. And it's not that they aren't offering a good service or doing a good job taking care of their customers or anything like that. It's just that it's an unfair advantage if you're trying to compete without AI versus AI. The AI is going to win that battle every time.
I think that's true. Um, what my audience loves to hear about are use cases, if you would. They want to know how AI is being applied and then what kind of results are they getting. Can you give us nothing proprietary, but can you give us a use case where you know you can point to how AI is really being used?
Yeah, so our focus with our customers is providing AI communication agents. And so our AI agents can make and receive phone calls, send and receive texts and emails, hold meetings with prospects or with customers, schedule meetings, manage calendars. So they can do all this communication work.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite examples is something that just happened just a couple weeks ago with a brand new customer of ours. We've been building their agent and testing it, and they were ready to push the button and go live, right? And this particular customer was an e-commerce business, and they were reaching out to a new segment of the market that they hadn't ever reached out to before, and trying to get into some new business lines. And we had been doing a bunch of testing leading up to their launch and had finished the testing and launched. And it was day one of the launch. And it was not even halfway through the day. We get a call from the customer and they said, "Hey, we thought you guys were done doing tests. We're getting all these orders through. Why are you still testing?" And we said, we're not testing anything. Those are real orders. You need to fulfill them. And they were like, "Oh, it's working already. Wow." And they had their AI agent reaching out to this new segment of the market and had immediate results. Immediate results. And so, it's fun to see those types of things where it surprises them in a very good way that it's working as well as it's working. We had another situation. This was just earlier this week where a customer was using one of our AI agents in a customer support role. And the customer had called in and had some questions, and the AI answered it. And then the customer said, "Now, wait a second, is this a person or is this AI?" And our AI agents are trained to let them know, like, "No, no, I'm an AI agent here to support your needs." And she said, "Wow, well, that was so much better than the normal support that I get." And so it was fun for us to hear that clip and share that. So those are some use cases, but it's interesting because a lot of businesses are talking about and looking at and investigating AI. Very few are actually implementing it yet. One of my colleagues was at a business conference a few weeks ago, and it was a business conference where they were talking a lot about AI. And one of the speakers was up on stage and said, "Okay, I want everyone who is looking at investigating, using, somehow engaging with AI to stand up." And almost the entire room stood up, right? And he says, "Okay, now those of you that have actually implemented it and are actually using it in your business today, stay standing. Everyone else sit down." And about 85% of the room sat back down. And so we're still very early in terms of real adoption. I think a lot of people are using things like ChatGPT and stuff like that to maybe help write an email here or there, but truly creating processes around AI, that's still fairly new. But those companies that are doing that are going to speed past their competitors because they're able to do things so much faster, so much more efficiently than others.
So the 15% of, I'm sorry, the 85% of people who sat down, are they nervous about using AI in business? Is that why they're not adopting it yet? Or is there some natural progression that they're going to go through regarding AI in order to adopt it? And
Yeah, there.
get started.
What was the last part of the question? Sorry, Ken.
And what's the best way for a company looking at this to get started so that, they're not that nervous about it and they can either test their way to it or, they can adopt it gradually. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, so there is a natural progression that we see over and over again with those that are adopting AI, and usually it starts with a business leader um, trying AI out to do something inconsequential. Tell me a joke, write a story for my 5-year-old, or just something like that, right? Somewhat inconsequential, and usually it's like a Chat GPT or Grok or similar LLM. And then they start to use it a little bit more and more, and eventually it starts to creep its way into business use cases like, hey, help me write this email, help me write a memo, help me do this or that, right? And they start to use it, but it's outside of their process, right? Normal process does this, and then every once in a while it's like push pause, go grab AI, pull it into the process, and then continue.
Mhm.
Um, and that becomes somewhat normal. But it's this interruption to their normal process. And finally, they get to the point where they're like, geez, we just need to integrate this. How do we get this in our process? How do we make AI part of the process? And that's what we're seeing a lot of people do right now. And it's tricky because most business owners don't know how to do that. And there are very few companies like Thynk that are helping people do that. It's new enough that there's just not a lot of assistance out there for it. And so, we're as busy as can be helping people bring it on. But I think that there's just kind of a line at the door of people saying, hey, we want help. Can you help us? And so it is coming. I'll tell you what the next wave is, though.
Good.
And this is where things will really change. And if you think AI is moving fast now, just wait till this next wave hits. Right now, what we're seeing is people pulling AI into their existing process,
Mhm.
right? Where they're still doing the same thing they've always done, but they're just letting AI take pieces of that process. Well,
Right.
soon what we will see is where AI comes in and AI creates a new process. When we get to that state, when businesses get to the point where they're saying, okay, AI, look at my whole business and give us a holistic review of what we're doing and our processes and how we can do it better, and then AI go and do it for us. When we get to that point, we will not know what's happening because we'll be at warp speed at that point. The stars will be flying past us like little shooting lines, and business will forever change when we are there. And that's not too far off.
Wow. Well, the next, I think, 12 to 24 months is going to be really an exciting time to be in business, and the use of AI, I think, is going to really change it, as you just said. But
Yeah,
we're out of time, unfortunately. Time does fly fast when we're having fun like we are. Uh,
yeah,
I appreciate your perspective on what's happening with AI and how companies are viewing it, and what the future of AI looks like. As I just said, the next few years should be really interesting, and seeing how companies use AI, and importantly, what the results are, how it's going to become an integral part of how business is done is really critical. So I'd love to have you back. We'll talk about maybe in a few months, 6 months or a year, to see where you are with your customers, and again, how your perspective may be the same or change. Um,
yeah.
how can our listeners contact you if they have questions?
Well, one of the best ways for them to get in touch with us is to visit our website, which is think, Thynk.ai, Thynk.ai. And when you go there, you'll be able to click on a button and excuse me, have an interaction with one of our agents. And so we are our first customer. We use our own technology. And so if you go there, you'll be able to have an interaction with one of our agents, call, text, email, and the agent will help answer a bunch of your questions. And if you're interested, it'll help put us in touch with each other and let us have a conversation about how we might be able to support your business needs.
Terrific. Thanks again. To my audience, don't miss the next episode of TechKNOWlogy when we'll discuss how cutting-edge technology is being implemented across many industries, and importantly, what the results are and how these companies are getting an ROI. Remember to please contact Performance Business Solutions at performixbiz.com if you have any need or need any help with technology challenges, whether they're large or small. Again, I'm your host, Ken Umansky, and until we meet again on another technology podcast, keep innovating.